Bet Niger. Super Eagles goalkeeper explains absence from the African Cup of Nations. Kylian Mbappe is set to equal France's all-time top goal scoring record after victory against Brazil. Former D Tigers star appointed director of player relations at Connecticut Sun. More of this in the news. I am Banky All. Super Eagles goalkeeper Maduka Okoye has explained why he declined an invitation to represent Nigeria at the African Cup of Nations in Morocco. Speaking in an interview, the Udinese shortstopper said his decision was influenced by concerns over fitness, form, and timing following a prolonged absence from competitive football. Okoye revealed that he had been sidelined for approximately 2 months due to a betting-related suspension and felt it was necessary to prioritize his return to full match fitness at club level. He said, since I was not Nigeria's first choice goalkeeper, I believed it was better to remain at Udinese, work on my form, and also show appreciation to the club for standing by me during a difficult period. The 24-year-old also raised broader concerns about the scheduling of the African Cup of Nations tournament, noting that its placement within the European club calendar often forces players to make difficult professional decisions. Preparation for the 2027 African Cup of Nations have suffered a significant setback after the newly constructed Oima Stadium in Uganda was declared unfit to host matches, raising fresh concerns over the country's readiness for the continental showcase. The development comes as a major blow to Uganda's infrastructure plans, with the stadium initially earmarked as one of the key venues for the tournament. Despite substantial investment in upgrading sporting facilities, authorities have now been told that the venue falls short of required standards. Sources indicated that critical areas of the stadium require extensive renovations before it can meet the Confederation of African Football's hosting requirements. The deficiencies are believed to span across pitch quality, safety compliance, and essential matchday facilities. Uganda is expected to host the tournament alongside Kenya and Tanzania in what is projected to be a historic edition of the competition across East Africa. Eritrea marked a significant return to continental football on Wednesday, defeating Eswatini 2 goals to nothing in an African Cup of Nations AFCON qualifying fixture to end an 18-year absence from the competition. Former Manchester United youth striker CM Eyob Abraha was among the scorers as Eritrea secures a comfortable first-leg advantage at the Meknè Stadium, Morocco, due to Eritrea's lack of an international standard stadium. Eritrea last participated in African Cup of Nations qualifying in 2008 but subsequently withdrew from the next 9 editions without officially explaining. The prolonged absence has widely been attributed to a series of player defection during overseas trips. The team is now coached by Esham Yakan, a former Zamalek as a defender and member of Egypt's 1990 FIFA World Cup squad. Yakan named the 24-man squad featuring 14 foreign-based players. Now to Europe, Kylian Mbappe moved to within one goal of equaling France's all-time top goal scoring record as the side beat Brazil 2 goals to 1 in a friendly at the Gillette Stadium in Massachusetts, United States. Mbappe was sent through on goal by Ousmane Dembele in the 32nd minute and dinked the ball over an on-rushing Brazil keeper Ederson. It was Mbappe's 56th goal on his 95th appearance for his country. Only Olivier Giroud with 57 goals and 137 caps has scored more for the two-time world champions. The 27-year-old was substituted for Marcus Thuram In the 66th minute, having had two further half chances, dragging two shots wide in the first half, the forward made his France debut at the age of 18 in 2017 has been recovering from a knee injury, having last started for Real Madrid on the 22nd of February. Four-time winners, Italy moved one game closer to a first World Cup since 2014 with a 2-0 victory to end Northern Ireland's dream for its first World Cup in 40 years and a fourth time in their history in their playoff semi-final in Bergamo. Newcastle United midfielder Sandro Tonali broke the visitors' resolve and the growing tension at the New Balance Arena with a thunderous effort from the edge of the area in the 56th minute as Northern Ireland pressed forward. Moise Keane added a second off the inside of the post to secure the success within 10 minutes remaining. Gennaro Gattuso's side will now travel to Bosnia-Herzegovina, who defeated Wales 4-3 in a penalty shootout after a 1-1 draw in Cardiff. Graham Potter, Sweden, had one win from qualifying for the World Cup after Arsenal striker Viktor Gyökeres scored a hat-trick in their 3-1 playoff semi-final win over Ukraine. The forward had not scored in 2026 qualifying for Thursday's game in Valencia, Spain, where Gyökeres went home with the match ball after scoring in the 6th and 51st minute before completing his treble with a 73rd minute penalty. Sweden will face Poland in their playoff final on Tuesday, 31st of March, after they also came from behind to overcome Albania 2-1, with veteran forward Robert Lewandowski with 37 among the scorers. Kosovo, who are 78 in FIFA's world ranking, will make their debut at this summer's tournament if they beat Turkey in Pristina on Tuesday, after twice coming from behind to stun Slovakia 4-3. Turkey beat Romania 1-0 with Brighton fullback Fedi Kadioglu scoring the only goal of the game in Istanbul. And Denmark won 4-0 against North Macedonia in Copenhagen with all four goals coming in the second half, and Brentford's Mikael Damsgaard claiming the opener, Arsenal midfielder Christian Norgard the fourth in the game. In basketball, Connecticut's Sun have announced the appointment of former D Tigers standout player Chineze Nwagbo as the franchise's new director of player relations. Nwagbo, fondly known as Chini, will oversee development and implementation of the team's player-focused initiatives in a new role in the Women's National Basketball Association (WNBA) club. Our responsibility will include leading strategic programs centered on player engagement, welfare and advocacy, and personal development. According to the club, the position is designed to ensure that players are supported throughout every phase of their professional careers, both on and off the court. The role also emphasizes preparing the athlete for life beyond basketball by equipping them with the tools needed for long-term success. Nwagbo brings a wealth of experience to the position, having represented Nigeria at the international level with the D Tigers and built a reputation as a committed professional during her playing career. In the NBA, for the men, Charlotte Hornets defeated New York Knicks 114 to 103 points. For Detroit Pistons, they were too good for New Orleans Pelicans on the night. It was 129 to 108 points. Sacramento Kings lost when they went to Orlando Magic. They bowed to 121 points, with them being able to record just 117 points. In tennis, American Coco Gauff cruised past Karolina Muchova in straight set to reach her first Miami Open final. Florida-born 22-year-old dropped only 2 games to triumph 6-1, 6-1 in 1 hour and 30 minutes. Having been broken in the first game, Gauff won 10 games in a row to take control of the match against the 13th seed. Czech Republic's Muchova also lost in the fourth round of this year's Australian Open to Gauff in straight sets. Yannick Sinner claimed his 29th and 30th consecutive set at ATP Masters 1000 event as he cruised past American Francis Tiafoe into the semi-finals of the Miami Open. The Italian world number 2 broke Novak Djokovic's 10-year record of 24 on Monday, never looked back after breaking Tiafoe in the opening game, going to win 6-2, 6-2 in 71 minutes. The world number 20 had no response to a dominant display from the world number 2, Sinner, who dropped only 9 points on serve across the two sets. Sinner, who has won 4 Grand Slam titles, will face Germany's world number 4, Alexander Zverev, who defeated Argentina's Francisco Cerundolo 6-1, 6-2 in the last 4. And finally, in Formula One, George Russell's led teammate Kimi Antonelli to a Mercedes 1-2 ahead of McLaren's Lando Norris in the first practice at the Japanese Grand Prix. Russell pipped Antonelli, who took his maiden win at the last race in China by 0.026 seconds, after the two drivers swapped fastest times in the middle of the session. World champion Norris was 0.132 seconds behind Russell in his McLaren. Piastri was 0.199 seconds adrift, an encouraging start to the weekend for the Australian and McLaren, who have had a difficult first 2 Grand Prix. The Ferraris of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton were 5th and 6th fastest. That's all we have in the news. Talking points next.
Gịnị ka eji ama onye bụ ezi onye isi n'egwuregwu? Ọ na ịbụ onye mbụbụ ụzọ bido ka ọ bụ onye na-ezi otu esi eme ya mgbe ọbụla ruo ihe karịrị afọ 10. Bet Naija na-ebute ụzọ na-egosi otu esi eme ya site na ndị na-agbanwe egwuregwu dịka Bet Builder, Bet Freeze, One Up, Bet Boom tinyere ọtụtụ elu n'ihe egwuregwu karịrị 300,000 naira, narị puku atọ. Ị na-egwu ya naanị iji ime onwe gị obi aṅụrị. Ị na-egwu ya iji rite nnukwu ego. Ọ bụghị maka ndị na-erube afọ 18. Bet Naija.
Welcome back to Urban Sports on 94.5 Urban Radio, proudly sponsored by Bets Niger. Heartbreak last night in the games for teams going to the FIFA World Cup from Europe. Different results, different outcomes, and the massive results recorded in some of the matches last night. Like we saw, the win for Ireland. We saw the win for Chelsea. They defeated Ireland on penalties. Yes, the game ended 4-3 on penalties. Sad one for Ireland. They will not be part of the FIFA World Cup despite a spirited effort to push to the playoffs. Parrot once again got the fourth goal for them. In the 19th minute, there was a penalty. Then Koval gave them an own goal, and Ireland were leading against Chelsea. Czech Republic 2-0. And then there was a goal tally. There was a reduction in the tally through Patrick Skitch, who scored a penalty for them in the 27th minute, and late equalizer in the 86th minute to break the heart of Ireland to Ladislav Krejci. In the 86th minute, the game went into penalties, and Ireland missed 2 penalties. Finn Azar and Alan Browning missed both penalties for them, and they were knocked out of the FIFA World Cup. Turkey defeated Romania 1-0. We talked about that last night. It was Kadioglu who scored in that game, and assist from superstar midfielder Ada Güler of Real Madrid. So that game ended 1-0 in favor of Turkey. And for Turkey, so after beating Romania, their next game will be they are getting set for their next game, and that will be against Kosovo. Yes, Kosovo are ranked 78th in the FIFA World Ranking, but they won against Slovakia yesterday. A dramatic win for them. They were down on 2 occasions, and they were leading with 2 goals at some point, eventually winning that game 4 goals to 3. Right, for Denmark, they are top at North Macedonia, yes, with 4 goals. Goals coming from Mike Mikkel Damsgaard. Damsgaard got on the score sheet. We also saw Saxon with 2 goals, and Christian Norgard has got a header. Yes, just remind you about what is going on with the team. Yes, he got on the score sheet for them, 4 goals to nothing. We saw the spectacular Santo Tonali gave Italy hope of going to the World Cup for the first time in over 10 years. He scored a fantastic goal that was in the 56th minute and assisted Moise Kean to score a second goal for them. And that goal came in the 80th minute, and they defeated Northern Ireland 2 goals to nothing. Fantastic goals. Sandro Tonali quite the influence for Italy and for the Italian side, and they have to beat Bosnia and Herzegovina to be able to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. Bosnia and Herzegovina won their game against Wales in Cardiff. That game went through to penalties, and the first goal was scored by Dan James. He scored a spectacular goal, a scintillating finish in the second half in the 51st minute. Yes, one of the goal of the week. And then we had the legend himself, Edin Dzeko, Syria Premier League title winner, scored an equalizer for his home team, Bosnia and Herzegovina, to push them into the final playoffs, which is going to be against Italy. Right, we also had Poland, they defeated Albania. That game ended 2 goals to 1. Robert Lewandowski scored in the 63rd minute. Zelensky scored in the 73rd minute. Yes, to give them a victory in that game. Sweden will be playing against Poland in their final playoff game on Tuesday. So heartbreak will come, more wretching performance. Expectations are high for some of these teams to be part of the FIFA World Cup. And for Victor Gyökeres, he got a hat-trick. He needs that form to go into the run-ins for Arsenal. He's got a hat-trick for Sweden against Ukraine. That game ended 3 goals to 1. So that's some of the update from the FIFA World Cup qualifiers from last night in the European Series. We also had a blockbuster friendly between France and Brazil. Now, France won that game with a man down. France won 2 goals to 1. The first goal of the game was scored by Kylian Mbappe in the 32nd minute. Ousmane Dembele assisted. Then there was a red card for Dayot Upamecano. That was in the 55th minute, and Hugo Ekitike still went on to add more goals for France. It was an assist from Michael Olise. As you look at the quality in the French side, it's unmatched. When you look at the quality in France and you look at the quality in Portugal, then you understand that the World Cup is serious business. And later in the game, Bremer got one back for Brazil in the 70th minute, and trust me, the fans were clamoring for Neymar. They were screaming Neymar's name despite not being listed. In the squad by the coach of Brazil, Carlo Ancelotti. They need to bring Neymar back. If you watch that game for Brazil, they were lethargic in that performance that they gave the likes of Vinicius Junior, Martinelli, Kua. They live up to the billion in that match yesterday. So France showing their top quality once again to beat Brazil 2 goals to 1, and it might not even be better than that. For Brazil, because they've not been that team that you would have expected. They don't have the quality that they used to have in the past. In fact, currently it's Vinicius Junior's team, but Vinicius Junior, who is 25 years old, has 7 goals and 6 assists at 24-year-old for Brazil. Vinicius Junior with just 7 goals and 6 assists as of this time for Brazil. Now at 25, Neymar already scored 52 goals and 35 assists for Brazil. That's why they're calling for their prince to be included as part of the team for the FIFA World Cup. Only if he's fit, and I'm sure that Neymar will be doing everything possible to be fit for the FIFA World Cup, because they need him. They lacked that creative edge, that cutting edge, that final ball. They lack the spectacular, the spice that comes with watching Brazil play football, effortless football. Those touches, those flicks, those dancing and trickery was missing in their game yesterday. And until that is returned, I don't see France. I don't see Brazil winning the FIFA World Cup. So that was one of the high-profile matches played yesterday. Looking at to touch on some friendly matches, not so much, not the big ones, but we have some big friendly matches to be played today. Let me bring you guys in right now. 09160059450 091604945. Don't forget the show is proudly sponsored by Bet Niger, that's Urban Sports. So you can call us now, 09162059445. Maduka Okoye has explained why he declined the African Cup of Nations, the last one that we went to. Good morning to you. Yes, your name and location. All right, Basi, go ahead. That is my team for the World Cup. We're not the negotiator. Mm. Yeah. Their game is not, their game is not for yesterday. I didn't see their game for yesterday. Okay. Yeah, they didn't play it. All right, 09160059450 09160049445 for the playoff tournament. Suriname were beaten by Bolivia 2-1. So one step into the finals of the FIFA World Cup. For DR Congo, they are going to play. I think they should be playing Bolivia. The winner between Bolivia and Suriname. So they are playing. Their game is straight to the final. So they will be playing. All right, Gibraltar and Latvia. Gibraltar were beaten by Latvia 1-0 to Norton. Malta also lost to Luxembourg 2-0 to Norton. Good morning to you. Yes, your name and location. Thank you very much, my friend. Go ahead. Yes, now they won their game yesterday. 2-0 to Norton. So yeah, they have one more game. Well, let's hope that they can qualify. Their game is against Wales. Their game is. Did you watch their game yesterday? You mean Northern Ireland? But they are playing against Bosnia now. They won eventually now. They won 2-0 to Norton. So they just need to do that business. Win at all cost. Maybe you play better or not. Just win at this point. And 2014 they go last. Yeah, 9 then go last. Yeah, that was the last time. Yes. All right. If not for anything, I want to watch Sandro Tonali play at the World Cup. That guy is so good. Tonali is so good. Good morning to you. 09160059450 09160049445. And those are the numbers to call for the African Cup of Nations. Uganda are moving. I don't want to say they are moving mad, but they are not ready to host Africa in 2027. Good morning to you. Yes. Fine, go ahead, man. Mm. 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 The FIFA World Cup. The FIFA World Cup, yeah. Mm. Mm. Let me now tell you, I agree with what you said, though. You get, but you see, apart from the fact that it's football, we don't understand football is a mystery. There are teams that are solid. France have been part of the last two finals. They won one, lost one on penalties. So when you think about it that way and the quality of the players they have, then you know that there are some teams that will be tipped as potential winners. They're going to the World Cup as favorites. So that is the angle that we are coming from, not from an opaque angle. if you get me. Good morning to you. All right, 09162005945, 09162004945. Join us this morning. Good morning to you. Hello? Yes, your name and location. All right, go ahead. Mm. Iran. Yes, we'll play it in Turkey. We'll play by 2 p.m. today. Yes. In Turkey, in Turkey. And, don't be. They have sense too. They have sense too. No, 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 I beg. God, I beg. All right. All right. Brazilian fans are asking for Neymar. We just want Neymar. He's our idol, our monster, our prince. It completes us. After yesterday's performance, Brazilian fans, Brazil is calling for Neymar. And you know, Neymar, very sarcastic. He just dropped his smiley too. The same thing he did when they compares him with Rooney, or Rooney saying he's not like a top player. Yes, Rooney saying he's not a top player, saying he's not on the same level with Ronaldo and Messi. You know, on that level, not saying he's not a top player in international football. But Brazil fans are asking for Neymar. There is no current Brazil without Neymar. One last dance for Neymar at the FIFA World Cup will not be bad as long as he's fit. Good morning to you. Yes, your name and location. All right, go ahead. No, I didn't agree with Rooney. No. So, wait, wait.